Hi, I'm Rowan, and we have to put a little apology in the front of this video because, well, we ended up messing with our video cards, and we ended up putting System Animator on the wrong video card before we did this video. And so my lips didn't quite sync up during the video, and we find that to be annoying, and we're pretty sure other people do too. So, really sorry for the fact that my lips don't sync, but we fixed it, and hopefully we don't have this problem again. So bear with us while we show you this video. Bye. Well, don't go away. That was a little baby bye. We'll talk to you in a bit. Not bye. Just hang in there. Hello, I'm Rowan, and remember how I said we weren't going to do any kind of a video fast forward through doing the hair? Well, we're not, but what we are going to do is kind of do a react video to a video clip of me doing the hair, because honestly, sitting through hours of watching me tweak hair is enough to drive people crazy, and I wouldn't want to do that to anyone since I've already been through it. So let's not do that. Instead, let's just go and take a look at me doing a video about this beautiful bit of hair that we have sitting here. Now, it's not perfect. We're not done with it yet, but our goal here isn't to show you a perfect product. Our goal here is to show you how we've done what we've done and how you can too. All right? So let's go and bring up a video about me doing stuff so that we can talk about it. You can see that I have got the hair group separated out by names. And there's a bunch of hairs in each one of the groups, and they're all freehand groups. The right side and the left side are mirrors of each other, as in I created one and then I duplicated it and flipped it. You can use the little mirroring thing up here, but what I found to be annoying is that it doesn't always work. It's a free product, I swear. So if you tweak something with the hair and you accidentally don't have mirroring turned on, it can ruin the mirroring between two identical strands of hair. And also you can have an issue where you can do something with the mirroring turned on and it doesn't do it, and then it breaks the mirroring. So I just did one side of the hair and then mirrored it when I was done. And then I can do little tweaks and know that the majority of it's what I wanted anyway. So what am I doing right now? I am trying to adjust where this hairline is, because as you can see, it seems kind of high up on the head. And yeah, we're just trying to figure different ways, like moving the bulk of the hair around, trying to see what it does. Because honestly, one of the major problems with not having bangs, and this is part of why I say this application's very bang-centric, is that without bangs, it's very easy to see when you have a mesh that doesn't actually penetrate into the mesh of your head. And it kind of breaks immersion. That's a big word with avatars, is immersion, right? I mean, we are making a cutesy blue-haired anime girl in 3D. So immersion's kind of important. So I'm still messing around, trying to look and see what I'm really working with. And yeah, we're just trying to adjust. See, now everything's sitting lower and looks nicer on the forehead. But now we have this problem with the hairs on the side are kind of interfering with the ears, which are really big ears, by the way. Oh, and if you've noticed, maybe you noticed, I've done some work with the left ear. We'll get to that later. the right ear still needs to have work done on it. Oh, and I'm ruining it now. I'm messing things. Hindsight is 20/20, and I really liked how that hair looked. And unfortunately, I don't think I get it back to there. Yeah, we're still messing with this. So that's number one. What you can do is you can move your hair meshes around to see if adjusting them gets rid of a certain problem. Okay, what am I doing here? I'm still working on these adjustments. Eventually, I get tired of doing this, these tilts and adjustments and all that. So let's pause and see if we can find a better spot. Oh, here we go. We're starting to draw some hairs. Okay. Now, this mesh is not sitting flat against her forehead. There's just a weensy amount of space. And right now we're trying to figure out what we're going to do here. Look at how fat that hair is. We're trying to make some bangs that don't ruin the look of her swept back hair. And right now, we're just drawing some big bangs. Now, you see what happened there? We tried drawing, and because we're drawing on a three-dimensional shape with a two-dimensional interface, we ended up drawing too far back on the surface. And then it stopped because we reached a certain critical point where the application won't draw anymore. Okay, ditch those. We need to figure out how wide the hair needs to be, and oh, I'm in the way. There we go. See? We just lowered the width down. Now, this is an issue. This is an issue with Vroid Studio. Look at all these freaking toggles. Look at them. Look at them all. Look at this. We have multiple hairs, and then we have a texture parameter section with width, height, or highlights position, offset, and then we have hair parameters with width. So texture width, hair width, which is which? What? Okay, so texture width affects the width of the texture that's inside the hair. Hair width affects the width of the actual hair. And then we have thickness, which is how thick this brush paint that we're putting on actually becomes. And then we have twist intensity, which is just something entirely different. I haven't worked on curly hair yet, so that's going to be weird things. And then smoothness, how smooth your hair is versus how rough it is. I think it's basically Bezier curves that you don't get to look at the Beziers. And that just allows you to smooth the wiggles. Okay, and then there's a whole bunch of more toggles down here that we haven't even gotten into, like your cross-section and curve and all that. But this is complete overload in an interface that is kind of smushed into the interface for the rest of the character design. And I honestly think that this should have been a separate program entirely, because hair is very complicated. Let's start the video again. And you see, I'm just figuring that I need to put some kind of bangs in here that are going to do a job of framing her hair and framing her face without overdoing it. What do we want to do here? I think we're going to duplicate and flip inside the group, and then we're going to duplicate the other hair, I think. Yep. And then we're going to mess around a little bit here and flip it. What did I flip? Did I flip anything? We're not quite sure what's happening here. Oh, we duplicated the wrong hair. We want to duplicate this one, and we want to flip this one. There we go. Now, honestly, that's not bad. The only problem is the points don't meet in the middle, and they look like Trudy has hair growing from random places. We're just going to manually adjust the points of this hair, and that's closer. So we have a little bit of overlap happening here. When I say overlap, I meant between the bangs and the side hairs here. They had an issue where we still haven't fixed that. Come on, Rowan, you need to fix that gap. Okay, we're going to make a thin hair, and now that looks like ass. Oh, we're going to try it again. No, don't like it. It just looks clunky, doesn't it? Yeah, it looks like we're just putting a bow on top. It's like, here's your present, and there's a bow on top. It just doesn't look right. And see how it's intersecting with the other hairs here at a 90 degree? No, that's just awful. It's not nice at all. Looking at it going, maybe if I make it thicker, it'll look okay. No, now it just looks like that icing's thicker on her head. It's cake decorating, all right? So that's a big no. And now we're thinking some more. I don't really like how this is framing her head. And now moving it around with the position tools is just not accurate enough. It's just sloppy. You know how in DaVinci Resolve, if you hold down the Shift key and you move a slider, it goes by fractional distances? That doesn't happen here. Of course, DaVinci Resolve's free too, but then again, they make money with their hardware. And, we grabbed the wrong hair, but at least it's looking like our gaps are getting closed in Trudy's hair. And, okay, so that's the freehand group. That looks passable, honestly. It really does, but the problem is that as an artist, Mr. R, I'm going to blame this on Mr. R, not me at all. Mr. R is very retentive, and that made it look like a headband. It's like, ooh, Wonder Trudy in her magic headband that does ugly things to her hair. Now we're working with the mesh here. We want the hair to look like it belongs on your head. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to notice. But that one time when your avatar turns a certain way, everyone's going to see that your hair is like this mustache floating in the air, like a fake mustache. And that's just going to make things look awful. So this is why all this bizarre twisting of meshes starts happening. And now it looks like a blue crab has landed on her head. Now, we're not going to do that. It needs to be adjusted more. So we're going to mess with this for a while, where we stretch meshes and compress them and try to adjust things. And eventually, I think the idea of this head band is going to work, but there's like little details that we're going to put in, and we're looking at it going, no, yes. See, look at that. It's like now I've got 2 ribbons floating in front of her face. Nope. Okay, so you've seen us add and remove hairs. One of the marks of Trudy is that she has a big M sweep in the front of her hair. And this stuff here, although it's working, doesn't have that big M sweep. So how do we recreate that artistically? I'm going to get my mouse out of the way. That way there's only one mouse on the screen. No, still not working. That changes the look entirely. And oh, look at that. We're starting the M's. That is critical. It's kind of a big signature to the way her hair looks. Let's see how I handled that. At this point, we're making 3 M's, which is a little much. Yeah, and the brushes are just kind of overdone. We're looking at it. We're spending a lot of time trying to figure things out. And we're looking at stuff. Oh, and what was that? Well, let's see. We've got this hair, and we've selected it. And then we go to the special brush. And look at that. That little brush is allowed to modify how a piece of hair moves. Now we still have to, see that? We have to click on the brush, go back over to the special brush, and then now we're allowed to mess with that hair. But my goodness, that hair is long. Now we have a weird wiggle we need to get rid of, and we're looking at how long these hairs are, and we can stroke them out, but now they're getting way too long. We need something to get rid of all these extra bits that are too long. And what is that brush officially called? I think it's the adjustment brush. And we're still adjusting. So what happens when you use this adjustment brush is that it tends to move the dots, because there are little control points along the hair. It moves them into place, but it also adds additional control points. This is the only way we know of that you can actually add control points to a strand of hair, is to use this retouch brush. It's helpful if you need to do it, but at some point you have way too many control points and it becomes a hassle. And now that M is taking over her entire head now. That's not the way it's supposed to be. Oh, here we go. We're making adjustments on the mesh again. Because your hair is fundamentally two-dimensional, other than it has a thickness value. The only thing that really gives it volume and position in space is the mesh underneath it. And by playing with the mesh, by warping it, we're able to float the hair away from the face, push it forward some, pull it back some. But this is limited because, well, you have a line of dots going down about where your ear is from the top of your head, and then a set going to the front and back. Now, the front and back you can adjust forward and back and up and down, and the sides you can adjust up and down and out and in, but that's it, really. I don't think you can take a forward dot and sweep it over to the side or the other side, but we'll have to try that. But the sides are definitely limited, and oh, look at that, we're seeing spots there, right there. Now we're going to be adjusting this side because we saw this hole. It just will not behave. It's gotten to the point where we've done so many things to it that every time we try to make an adjustment, it just irritates itself to death. Messing with meshes and moving things around, and that's what you're going to find that you do. You're going to come up with a basic idea that kind of fits what you want it to do, and then you're going to start messing with it. Oh, hello, we've just introduced another item. So these roots, these big roots, you see this piece that she's playing with here? That's part of her M, but it's not. She's messing with it. I am. Me in the past is messing with that, trying to get it adjusted. And really, eventually, it turns out that what we need is a lock of hair that's going to sit right along the skull, right at the hairline. And right now we're figuring out that it's hard to work with because there's all these other hairs in the way. We made it really flat because we don't want it interfering with the other hairs. And now we've got this idea that we want to hide the roots with just one of the little strands of hair, something that won't be too obnoxious and thick and in the way. But we need to get it to fit in there nice and snug. And now we're going to do more stuff with the thickness there. That way it sits nice and tight to the mesh. And yeah, that looks pretty good there, but it's still not ready. There's still tweaks, and I can tell that it's floating away from the skull. Trying to figure it out. And then I'm sure we're going to adjust the meshes. You make a mesh, you draw a clump of hairs, and then you adjust the mesh so that the clump of hairs looks right. Then you look at it more. You determine you need to move other meshes around. We were having difficulty adjusting our hair because the other hairs were in the way. What are we going to do about it? Well, I would suggest that we turn off the other hairs, being that I'm from the future. I would suggest turning off the other hair so they're not in the way, and then we can work on this thing. Oh, we're still going to do it that way. Okay, fine. Don't listen to the girl from the future. There we go. You're starting to think properly now. Okay, and now we're using the adjustment brush to try to pull our hair. And you saw that it was working on both sides because that thing right there. Yes, I've distracted you. Now she's going, and we're going into point-by-point adjustments. And it is working on the other side, so that's good. Okay, there we go. Now let's take a look at this and go, all right, we want to adjust in the side of the mesh. There we are. And yes, that was our solution to having the hairs, the roots show up, is to put a very thin, tightly attached band of hair around that looks like it's her bangs, and then put the rest of her bangs on top. You get the idea that we've made this much tighter band, and we tucked it in. And what we're doing here is we're adjusting these little bits that, okay, I guess you can see them. Yeah, these little bits here need to be adjusted in. Once we get those tucked in, there we go. No, we got a gap now. We got to fill that gap. So we have a tight band, and then, boom, we turned on the other hairs in her M, at least one of the other hairs in her M, and that's pretty good. Okay, so we're just working with it, looking at it. This is the, is it good enough look? Is it gonna...
Okay, so that's how you do it. You make bangs.
That's all I had to say about it. You make bangs. That's how you do it. Oh, look at how, oh my God.
Have to clean this stuff up here.
Yep, still editing that hair. And this is where we're going to find out that this is just too chewed up. And eventually, even though we're making all these adjustments, they're going to get frustrating. See, we're just going through and trying to make adjustments, and there's always these little things. What are we talking about, little things? You see this little spot here where it goes from dark blue to light blue all of a sudden? That's where two hairs have overlapped, and the little bits are not lining up properly, and it's causing problems, see? So every time we adjust this hair, it moves it back and forth a little bit, but it's just not right, and it's getting uglier and uglier, and our little band that we had covering the hair is not working anymore, and eventually you realize it's just trash. It's just trash, and it needs to go away. Yes, even I've lost my patience at this point. Oh, is it? I agree.
It's
it is
true.
annoying.
I can take this and I can delete.
Yep. Bye-bye. There, see? That's all we had to do. That and rename
it. Right side.
There we go.
Then hit OK.
And now there are still some adjustments that I have to do.
That's pretty good.
except for those little adjustments that need to be made. That's right, just a few little adjustments still need to be made. And those are the famous last words of a fool. Because honestly, we have at least 2 more hours of footage of us doing things. And I don't think that's enough. Honestly speaking, it's going to be at least a couple more videos because we haven't covered a bunch of stuff like procedural hair groups and about modifying the pre-made hairs and just other things that I just can't possibly think of right now. But they do exist and they are things that need to be dealt with. So for now, we're just going to close this video where it's at, and we're going to pick up with more other stuff on hair in the next video. I hope this video was helpful and educational and maybe even a little entertaining, even though it's very limited in its scope due to the size of this topic. And I do hope that I will see you again soon, and that wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever time it is, you're having a great time. And again, I hope to see you again for the next video. Bye!